Everyone treats summer like it owes you happiness. Long days, pool parties, your best life on a loop. So what does it mean when you feel worse? The summer blues are real. It's why summer is one of the busiest stretches of the year for people starting therapy. Therapy is not only for when you're in crisis. Growth therapy is for all the moments when you decide you want more. More support, more clarity, more tools. Mental health isn't a destination you reach. It's something you build, and Grow makes that easier. Grow connects you with thousands of high-quality licensed therapists across the U.S., offering both virtual and in-person sessions, nights and weekends. You can search by what matters, like insurance, specialty, identity, or availability, and get started in as little as 2 days. There are no subscriptions, no long-term commitments. You just pay per session. Grow helps you find therapy on your time. The therapist you want takes your insurance on Grow. Grow accepts over 125 insurance plans. Sessions average $21 with insurance, and some pay as little as $0 depending on their plan. Visit growtherapy.com/book now today to get started. That's growtherapy.com/book now. growtherapy.com/book now. Availability and coverage vary by state and insurance plan.
Wishing your life was easier is not the same as wishing your child didn't exist. Feeling the weight of permanent caregiving is not a character flaw. It's not weakness, it's honesty. And with that honesty comes acceptance and an understanding of what we do have. G'day, I'm Debra Caldow, and welcome to the Expanding Worlds podcast, where the focus is on helping you, as you support your young person with additional needs, plan for their future. A future where they're safe, secure, and live a rewarding and fulfilling life. From around the world, I share stories and I share solutions from people making this happen right now. I'm a parent of a young person with additional needs, so I understand the challenges. Many of the people I've interviewed on this podcast have already helped me design a better future for my daughter, and I hope that they might help you as well to imagine what's possible for your young person. There's a script for the stages of our lives. You probably know it. You raise your kids, you spend 18 years on school runs, doctor's appointments, sports events, and taking them to parties, then picking them up from parties, and worrying every moment while they're there. And then slowly but surely they leave. Not all at once, first nights away, then weekends, then going to college or getting a job, and eventually a life of their own. And when they go, the story says something loosens in you. You rediscover the person you were before you were someone's parent. No more tidying up after someone. You have the time to be you, and not think about others before yourself. Where you were once needed completely, now you're needed differently. But I want to be careful here too, because I'm not saying this transition is easy for anyone. That empty nest feeling has its own grief, and can leave a deep sense of loss. But there is something specific, something particular, about watching that script play out in other people's lives when you know it isn't yours. There is a version of your future you quietly let go of. Maybe you let go of it when your child was diagnosed. Maybe you let go in pieces, slowly as the years passed and the direction became clear. Maybe you're still in the process of letting go. And that deserves to be acknowledged, without a but. It's real, it's a loss, and you're allowed to feel it. Grief is strange when there's no event to point to. When someone dies, there's a date, a funeral. The world reorganises itself briefly around the fact that something's been lost. But the grief of a future that isn't coming, the grief of a milestone that was never promised, there's no ceremony. Nobody sends flowers for it. You can't take a week off work for it. It arrives in small moments. The child of a friend gets married, and you're genuinely happy for them. But as you drive home, you wonder if your kid will ever fall in love. A colleague mentions their daughter just got her first flat, and you smile, and then you think about what independence might mean for your child. A family member tells you about their son's amazing new promotion at work, and you wonder if your child will ever get a job. There's a particular kind of loneliness in this. Not the loneliness of being alone. Many of us are surrounded by people who love us. But the loneliness of feeling like your experience doesn't quite fit the map other people are using for life. The life map says children are dependent, then they become independent, and parenting changes shape. But this map doesn't have a language for what you're living. It doesn't have a word for still needed completely. At peace with that most days, but occasionally overwhelmed by it. And then there's the guilt. We can feel guilty for grieving this at all, because our child is alive, because our child brings us joy, because we know parents who have lost children. And so we feel we have no right to mourn anything, because wanting a different future feels somehow like wanting a different child. But grieving this milestone is not the same as rejecting your child. Wishing your life was easier is not the same as wishing your child didn't exist. Feeling the weight of permanent caregiving is not a character flaw. It's not ingratitude. It's not weakness. It's honesty. And with that honesty comes acceptance and an understanding of what we do have. And the first thing that we have is presence. There's a quality of attention that gets built into you as a lifelong caregiver. You become someone who notices things. You can read a room. You can read people. You've been trained by necessity to be completely there because your child needed you to be, because the alternative was way too costly. That's not nothing. A lot of people go through their entire lives never really learning how to be present. You've learnt it. And that capacity doesn't stay only in your caregiving. It changes how you move through the world. The second thing is community. And I don't mean this in a vague, inspirational way. I mean the way that families often find each other. And when they do, something happens. There's a shorthand, a recognition. You don't have to explain the funding battles, or the meetings where you're invisible, or why a store trip took 3 hours. You don't have to justify your grief or your joy to each other. You can simply say, today was a lot, and someone nods and actually knows what a lot means. That community, when you find it, is not a consolation prize. It's a specific and irreplaceable thing. The third thing, and this is the one I think we all need to remind ourselves of daily, is a different relationship with meaning. That life script says that meaning comes from freedom, from finally having time for yourself. But we are finding meaning in something that runs deeper than freedom, in being someone's constant, in the particular knowledge that we are for our children the ground they stand on. People can assume that we might feel trapped. Sometimes we do. But there's also something about knowing that we're the most important person in another person's universe that makes you feel more tethered to this life than anything else can ever do. We're doing something that has no adequate name. The word caregiver is too clinical. Parent is true but incomplete. We have signed up to love a person and found out that that love was asking more of us than we knew we had. And we gave it, and we're still giving it. No, we don't get the quiet house, the second act of freedom. What we get is something else, something harder to see, something our society doesn't have great language for just yet. We get a life that was shaped by staying, by choosing every day, on the easy days and the days that nearly break us, to stay. That is definitely not a lesser life. That is a life of purpose and true meaning. I just want to say thank you for taking the time to listen, and I hope that the stories and solutions shared on here help you as you support your young person to create their future. If you'd like to support the podcast, then visit my Buy Me a Coffee page at buymeacoffee.com/expandingworlds. Or you can connect with me on Instagram or LinkedIn at Debra Caldow. I'd love to have a conversation with you on any of the topics we all care about. Bye for now.
Skip the traffic and save with $10 round trips from Boston to the Cape during the Cape Flyers Anniversary Celebration in June. Relax and enjoy free Wi-Fi, wheelchair accessibility. You can even bring your pet or bike for free. Arrive refreshed after an adult beverage and light fare. It's the most convenient way to get to the Cape from 6 different starting points. Reservations are never required, and this month your round trip is just $10. Visit capeflyer.com for schedules and fares.